Hello everybody, today for you I have a Uria Lord of the Searing Flames deck list for the Edison format 2010. This deck is based around Uria, Lord of the Searing Flame. His effect is you can send 3 face-up trap cards you control to the graveyard to special summon him. He gains 1000 attack for each continuous trap in your graveyard, and once per turn you can target one set spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy it, and neither player can respond to this activation with a spell or trap. Now this is quite unique. Due to the fact that you can't respond to it with a spell or trap, your opponent won't be able to bottomless or anything because you can use priority to activate his effect on summon, making him very hard to deal with. So to start her off, we run 3 Raikou and 3 Super Nimble Mega Hamster. Now this is unique to Uria decks, and the reason I play this is because he gains 1000 attack for each continuous trap in your graveyard. So milling continuous traps will help boost your Urias when you do drop it. And often when you do summon Uria, you want it to be for game damage, right? So you really want to get those continuous traps in the graveyard quickly. We play 1 Morphing Jar in order to refresh your hands. A lot of the time you'll be able to set your whole hand with the Morphing Jar and then flip it for a +5. Smarter opponents might see this coming after game 1 if you use it game 1. Sangan searches all your cards in this deck, including Uria, so it's an easy addition. 3 Magical Planner or Magic Planner. You can use Magic Planner to send a continuous trap card to the graveyard and draw 2 cards. Cloak and Dagger is an interesting continuous trap card I've decided to include. You can declare 1 monster's name, and if your opponent summons that monster, you can remove from play that monster and this card. This is particularly useful in a few matchups, like the Machina matchup, where you can banish fortresses when they hit the board, and you know they're going to summon a fortress because that's what their deck does. 3 Fiendish Chain, an easy inclusion. Gravity Bind, a good way to stall until you get to your Uria. 3 Imperial Custom. Imperial Custom protects your continuous trap cards from being destroyed by battle and card effect. So this is your back row protection in this deck. So for that reason, you don't really have a need to play Starlight Road or Dark Bribe or anything like that. You already have that kind of built in. What's most interesting about this is it also protects your trap monsters, which is very useful. 1 Mask Restrict for that pesky Caius everybody is playing right now. I mean, depending on your meta, you could probably play more. It is very useful against a lot of matchups like Frogs. 2 Metal Reflect Slime. This is a good staller. 3000 defense, and if you have Imperial Custom on board, it's going to be even harder to get over. Mirror Force. Mirror Wall, a strong addition to this deck, being a continuous trap with a strong effect. Half the attack of all your opponent's monsters, and once per turn during the standby phase you have to pay 2000. Ideally it would not be sticking around all that long. 2 Nightmare Wheel. This card does burn damage and doesn't let your opponent attack. Not the best card in the world, but it is a continuous trap card that will allow you to stall while being face up on the field for Uria. 2 Royal Oppression, the best trap card of them all. Why not play it? You can always send it to the graveyard to summon Uria, turning it off. 2 Skill Drain, very powerful inclusion too. For the same reason, you can always just send it to the graveyard with your Uria when you're finally ready to push for that game damage. I see some lists not playing Skill Drain. I can understand they might be concerned about some negative synergies, but at the same time, it's such an impactful card, I don't think there's a good excuse for not playing it. 1 Judgment, 1 Torrential, 1 Wall of Revealing Light. This card allows you to pay life points in multiples of 1000, and your opponent's monsters cannot attack if they have that much attack or less. Another strong stalling addition. Zoma the Spirit, another trap monster. You can special summon them in defense, and then when he is destroyed by battle, your opponent takes damage equal to the attack of their monster. Trap monsters are very nice in this deck. Later on in Tengu Plants, I have another rendition of this deck when you get access to the Tikis. That's very interesting. In the side deck, I have some other cards that I have considered playing. Breaker the Magical Warrior is a good way to clear back row prior to dropping Uriah. Ideally, your opponent would only have one back row at the time you drop the Uriah. I did consider playing Macrocosmos and DD Survivor. Now, it has a lot of negative synergy. Macrocosmos cannot be Magic Planted and it cannot be sent to the graveyard with Uriah. But the idea would have been that it would give you an alternative win condition outside of just summoning big Uriahs, because sometimes your opponent might be able to whittle down the number of continuous traps you have, so you won't be able to summon the Uriah. That was the idea. I see a lot of deck lists play DD Warriorly. Yeah, it's a fine addition, I suppose. It's just a generically decent monster. Mage Power is an option. You can use it to boost any of your monsters at any moment because you play so many continuous traps anyway. Might help you push for game damage. I opted not to play it. Instead, I put in this little Ryko hamster engine. I feel like these cards are going to make your Uriah bigger regardless, at the same time as having more utility. Yeah, so that's it for this list, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Give her a go, and have a nice day.